What up, YouTube? It's your boy JusRzd, and today we're chopping it up about episode 3. We're reviewing episode 3 of Creature Commandos. This particular episode was a little light, but it was a little. I ain't gonna say it was light. It it was cool. It was a cool episode. I like what they did as far as pushing the story forward and still giving us backstory on one of the characters. We get to see GI Robot's backstory in this particular episode, and it was interesting. We see him as a autonomous robot that was created to during, I believe, World War II to kill Nazis, and he was with his platoon as they were out in the field, out in the brush. They end up getting ambushed, and he ends up rescuing some of his platoon. Some of them, unfortunately, don't make it, but he ends up rescuing his platoon and destroying all the Nazis. And you can tell he's enjoying it. He is slaughtering them. And they celebrate afterwards. Of course, he's a robot, so he's just there, not understanding what's going on. And we see that they tried to use him for like a media showcase day, and he still didn't understand what was going on because he's a robot, and he's just still focused on the fact of trying to kill Nazis, which has been his whole shtick this entire season so far, of wanting to kill Nazis. And so it was interesting to just see the dynamic of him when he was originally created and his purpose and this, that, and the third, even to the point where he got upgraded not too long after World War II. I think it was like 20 years after World War II. And a person asked him, he was just like, what would you want to, I believe it was Will Magnus asked him, what would you want to do, Will Magnus, what was his name? What would you want to do if your original directive wasn't to kill Nazis? And he said he would just want to return back to his platoon and celebrate with them and kill more Nazis with them. And he was just like, well, it's been 20 years. Like they either went on to be with them or they just went on with life. So it's just like that's probably not possible. And through them telling his backstory and just everything that transpired with GI Robot in his past, they're also telling the present story of course, Captain Rick Flag Sr. and the rest of the Creature Commandos showing up at Dr. Frankenstein's house to rescue the bride and to rescue Nina. And they get in there. The bride is tied up to a chair in the main hallway, and they don't know if it's an ambush or not, so they're trying to make sure they got everything covered. And the bride is continuing yelling, but her mouth is taped. They take the tape off, and she's like, yo, they left. They took Nina upstairs, and they left right after they got us. And Rick Flag was like, why would they leave after they... Oh, no. And then he's like, yo, we got to make it back to the princess, because they pretty much kind of left her unguarded. At least the Creature Commandos weren't there to guard her, because they were out trying to rescue the bride and Nina. So they ended up rescuing the bride. They ended up rescuing Nina. Nina was in a bathtub with barbed wire on top, so she couldn't get out. She didn't have her suit. Her suit got busted, so she couldn't breathe outside of water. So she was stuck in the bathtub filled with water. And GI Robot ends up carrying the bathtub, puts it in the car. They all drive back to the mansion, and immediately we cut to the princess's palace, and we see her being waken up by a soldier that immediately dies as soon as he warns her that they're under attack and tries to get her out the room safely. He immediately dies. She ends up trying to run away. Of course, that doesn't work. She ends up running into one of the thugs, but she ends up breaking away and being able to make it back to her room and lock her door. Then she's able to, while she's hiding in her room, able to pull out a pistol, and some of the intruders finally break down her door and get in there, and she ends up killing both of them. And the whole time she's going through that process, we see the Creature Commandos pull back up to the crib. to the princess's palace, and they try to take on the offensive of destroying the different intruders that were working for Cersei. And yeah, it was it was interesting just watching them use their powers and abilities effectively. They got Nina a suit so she could walk around outside freely and not have to worry about it. And we just see them using their abilities to their advantage. We see the bride shooting people, destroying them, beating them up. We see Dr. Phosphorus burning through bullets, and like legitimately, people are shooting at him and he's burning the bullets away. And we see him fighting, and then we see GI Robot kind of scope the scene, and then ask Rick Flag Sr. like, "Hey, aren't these guys Nazis?" And Rick Flag Sr.'s like, "Yeah, they're Nazis." And he just goes crazy, unleashes all his artillery, and just starts destroying everybody. And just when it's starting to to look like they're getting the upper hand in the situation and in the fight, we cut to another cutscene, and we see GI Robot in the past being sold to different collectors. Well, being sold in a shop to a collector. The collector takes care of him, takes him home, kind of treats him as like one of the family, and then he takes GI Robot to a meeting that he had, and unfortunately it looks like the meeting that he had where they were going to, and it was funny because on the way GI Robot asked where were we going, and he was just like, it's just a meeting of people who want to see their want better for their country. And I was just like, that seems weird. I was just like, that's a little weird. But they end up getting there, and the dude, shortly after everybody gets seated, he pulls back the curtain, and it's a big Nazi flag behind it's a big Nazi flag behind the dude's head as he starts to open the meeting. And of course, that sets GI Robot off, and he's just like, Nazis, and kills everybody in the meeting. It just destroys everybody in the meeting, and it was just like, oh, all right. And then we see him later get placed on trial for that debacle, and he ends up getting convicted, going to jail, and of course that's where Amanda Waller ends up finding him as he's just rotting away in prison. It was kind of like a sad backstory, low key, like, but just it was interesting seeing where he came from. And then we cut back to present day. He's still going off with the guns and the artillery, and then all of a sudden his head blows up, and Cersei blew up his head. So he immediately drops to the floor, and then Cersei goes up to try to fight the princess. And while she's going to fight the princess, well, not even while she's going to fight the princess, she hit the princess right in the face with an energy blast. Princess flew back, and she threw her up against the wall. Princess hit the wall. Now, everybody else that's been taking, all the regular humans that have been taking hits from superpowered people have been getting torn to shreds. The princess is still intact. So I don't know if she was holding back or if the princess got some explaining to do on how she got this super durability. But the princess looked like she got some super durability. I'm just saying. She looked like she got some super durability. But it was interesting seeing how everything was going on with her and what they what they were doing before Cersei was about to end her life. It was interesting. Weasel comes out of nowhere, just starts attacking Cersei, starts biting her, starts ripping through her skin, and kind of knocks her out the window. And she hits the ground, and then Dr. Phosphorus comes over and says he's always liked some good barbecue, and proceeds to burn her face. And that's pretty much where the episode ends. After the bride, and you see Rick Flag Sr. looking on in disgust at what's transpiring, and then you see the bride say, "Hey man, you said you wanted monsters. You got monsters." And that's pretty much where the episode ended. And next week's episode looks like it's going to be the aftermath. of this battle and what is taking place, and we might get a little more backstory for Cersei and see what's going on and why she was choosing to do what she was doing. But as of right now, episode 3 was it was a cool little episode, man. It was solid, bro. It was solid to me. I give it about an 8. I give it about an 8. Like, I thought it was dope. I thought it was dope how they weaved in G.I. Robot's backstory and like really let you see his, even though he's a robot, really let you see like the heart of his character. And I thought that was interesting. I thought that was interesting the way they depicted that. Love the fight scenes. Very Invincible-esque, like super raw, cutting through people, punching through people, ripping people apart. So if super gory animation ain't your thing, this might not be the show for you. But so far, first 3 episodes been solid, man. I've liked the first 3 episodes so far. I'm interested to see where the story gonna go and how it's gonna play out, because already off top when they introduced Cersei, I already felt like Cersei wasn't gonna be the big bad of the situation. She did say once they captured her that she was trying to kill the princess, or she was trying to unalive the princess to save the world, and that they don't understand, and they're stopping her from saving the world. So it's just like I'm interested to see how that dynamic and how that twist and how that spin in the plot is going to play out. And I really want to understand who the princess is, because I just feel like she shouldn't have been as durable as she was getting beat up by Cersei. Everybody else Cersei been running through. She blew up G.I. Robot head. She been running through regular folk. Like, she was going toe to toe with the bride, and the bride had super strength. I mean, she was beating the bride up, like, low key. Especially when she turned the bride's arm into like inflatable tube things. And so it's just like, if you're doing all that with super power people, then why she just got a little dust and scratches on her when you throw her around? So I don't know. I think the princess got a little bit more depth to her character and something she ain't shared with the group. So I'm interested to see how her story plays out and what's the whole goal here for Creature Commandos. I'm interested. I'm tapped in. But let me know in the comments below how you feel about it. Have you watched it? Have you watched episode 1, 2, and 3? How do you feel about the first 3 episodes? Do you agree with my rating, or do you feel like I'm tripping? Let me know in the comments below, and we can chop it up about DC Studios' first venture, DC Studios' first venture in their cinematic universe with the Creature Commandos. I'm excited to see Superman next year. Not gonna hold you. I'm excited to see what James Gunn is gonna do with this whole DC Comics brand. But yeah, man, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channels and hit that notification bell so you can be notified anytime we're dropping a new video on the channel, which is every day. But stay tapped in with your boy, stay locked in with your boy, and never forget, it's free soul to the show free. Let's get it.